This is WWE superstar Drew McIntyre, and you're listening to the WWE Podcast.
The champ is
the one that everybody wants, me.
Becky Lynch is going to WrestleMania. Claymore!
Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass. This is my iron. You're going to acknowledge me.
Hey everybody, welcome to the WWE Podcast. It is Sunday, February 25th, 2024, and we are back. It feels like I've been gone for a while, even though it was only one night. I don't know, it feels like forever. My cough has returned. I was going to have a co-host on here tonight, but my cough has returned, and I'll be, unbeknownst to the listeners, but I'll be pausing this show more than you would know, obviously, because this is a pre-recorded show, but if I had brought on a guest, it would have been really tough to have a conversation. And we'll bring her on Tuesday for the Raw review. So we'll have a co-host. Chrissy will be back with us on Tuesday night for the Raw review if things clear up. I mean, I'm cycling from one sickness to the other. It's pretty crazy on top of being hungover, but that's my own doing. So thank you, everybody, for joining me here on the WWE Podcast. We're going to talk about the Elimination Chamber. That's going to be the sole focus of today's show, right? Tonight's show, whatever, because I haven't given them yet. I haven't really, outside of a couple of tweets I've put out there or posts on X, I haven't really said too much about the Chamber. And that's not only because I've been busy and sick, but also because, is there really much to talk about? I mean, we got some news. Cody challenging The Rock to a match, a one-on-one seemingly. Seth said he'll be his backup, which he's said every week for like the last 6 weeks. We get it, Seth. Yet he has yet to show that he'll back him up yet. So, I mean, I still think that's going to come to a one-on-one. Now, how or where that happens, I don't know. I mean, it could actually be a match on SmackDown. I mean, imagine that. The Rock versus Cody Rhodes like a week before WrestleMania or something like that. I mean, they could do it. Or they wait until after WrestleMania and see what happens. The Rock right now doesn't have a locked-in match for WrestleMania, and obviously can't happen with Cody at Mania, so perhaps Cody and The Rock happens, like I said, on SmackDown. How big of a SmackDown rating would that draw? So, that's my thought when it comes to that, and I mean, we had Grayson Waller in that segment really try to play the neutral the neutral party, even though he's with Austin Theory. He didn't help Austin Theory. He didn't run down the Australian crowd. He was very much neutral. They made a very big effort to not turn him into a heel in front of his home crowd. So they made a very concerted effort to do that. And I understand why. Austin Theory was the butt of the joke. He's the one that got beat up. So we'll see if that leads to further tension with Austin Theory and Grayson Waller, or if it's just going to be blown over. But to be honest, I mean, that segment with Seth and Cody was, outside of the challenge from Cody, kind of run-of-the-mill. And that's not to say it's bad, but kind of like the rest of the matches, when it comes to the outcome, most matches were exactly, or if not all of them, were exactly what most people predicted in terms of the outcomes. Now, the quality of each match and how the finish happened, and the Logan Paul seemingly getting into an real program with Randy Orton, that kind of stuff maybe we didn't see coming. So we can discuss that down the line here. But most matches, when you look at it, were really very heavily favored, and with good reason, and Triple H didn't deviate from that. He didn't deviate, they didn't, and go some wild way. They went with Becky Lynch winning the Women's Chamber, which, I mean, I know that there's some people out there that think Bianca Belair should have won. I'm in that boat that she could have absolutely won. We got no Jade Cargill face-off, so we don't know if or when she's going to be appearing for WrestleMania. And let's just start with the women's match, though, and then we'll go match by match. So the Women's Chamber match starts out with Becky Lynch and Naomi. And two big stars of the company, right? We know what they have provided the company, especially Becky Lynch. Naomi has been kind of lukewarm since she returned. Nothing real, I guess, earth-shattering since she came back. Nothing that you could really say, oh my God, this is going to be great. She's going to get in this and that. No, I mean, like, she hasn't done much. But she's still an exciting talent. She's got a new entrance theme. And she's good in the ring, really good in the ring. And then you get this 5-minute intro to their the women's match. It was way too friendly for me. I don't mind a hand slap at the beginning. They go into some chain wrestling. Eventually it breaks down into punching and stuff, which is how two respected baby faces usually face off against one another when there's a cold program with them. I mean, they're just thrown in the ring. They have a very respectful match. Fine. But I'm sorry. The beginning of this match was awful. And I mean that from the perspective of it was so unbelievable. Meaning, when I say unbelievable, I don't mean it was awesome. I mean, it didn't draw me in because it looked incredibly choreographed. Incredibly choreographed. You do this, I do this. Then we match move for move. It was awful. And then we had Naomi even shaking her ass at one point. How is that exactly going to help you win the match? And not to mention, what's on the line here is a title opportunity at WrestleMania. And they're more worried about shaking each other's asses and move for move. And you do a pin, I do a pin, I do a pin, you do a pin, counter for counter. I know what some of you are going to say is, well, that's what they that's how, things used to be done. Okay. Well, maybe they, in some respects, did used to do it this way, and where you would have babyface. And I've seen this dynamic. It was just very poorly executed that it felt so choreographed. Now, let's counter that negativity with some good stuff. The women's match, I think there's a case to be made. It was better than the men's. They killed themselves in there. Tiffany Stratton had a career night in there, especially with the crowd support. Liv Morgan, I know that she lasted until the end. The crowd didn't give a damn about her. I know they didn't, because I have 2 ears and I can hear. They were very upset when Tiffany Stratton, who's a heel and a newcomer to the main roster, gets more support from the crowd than your long-standing Liv Morgan. All you have to do to summarize Liv Morgan's career is listen to her number 30 reaction from the Rumble. That's all you need to do, is listen to that, which was very ho-hum. And honestly, beyond the crowd reaction, which the crowd wanted nothing to do with Liv. Not that they didn't boo her, they were just disinterest. There's a disinterest, which I think is worse. There's just an indifference in Liv Morgan from the crowd. They just go, yeah, I guess cool. Like we like Liv, but she's okay. That's how most fans would say, would talk about her. You don't believe me? Go listen to every crowd. She gets a mildly nice reaction until the bigger star comes along, which is about half the roster on the women's side, and she just gets forgotten. And it's not disrespectful to Liv, it's just fact. If it's disrespectful by just kind of as a side effect, that is what it is. But all these people are supporting Liv Morgan. Why? I know she might be a nice person. She had a hot mugshot. She had the hottest mugshot of all time. Great, wonderful. But explain to me how Liv Morgan lasting into the last couple of people in the match, how exactly does that? How exactly is that benefiting anyone else in the match? Meaning, someone like Naomi. Naomi just returned, and you're going to eliminate her first? So that was a bit of a head scratcher. Liv Morgan should have absolutely been the first one out. Again, she was the most disinteresting person in the match. I know she's on this magical, imaginary revenge tour. All this it's not hate for Liv. It's just, guys, stop me when I'm telling a lie. I may not like Liv's style or whatever, but that's all opinionated. The crowd reaction is not an opinion. It's fact. Listen, it's mild. It's not booing. It's just mildly nice. It's okay, right? The crowd on Saturday night or Saturday morning, whenever you listened or watched, very just about Liv, and especially when she pinned Tiffany Stratton, the crowd was, at that point, they were just like, screw you, Liv. And you can tell that wasn't by design. Liv, who's a babyface, should have gotten cheered for that pin, and she did not. All right. And Liv Morgan just never, even her title run with, beating Ronda Rousey, how did she win it again? Opportunistically with the Money in the Bank briefcase. And then how did she defend it? She was successful. She didn't outright cleanly beat Ronda Rousey, if you remember that match, right? She's never, to me, I mean, it just is what it is. Those are facts. Those are facts. All my other opinionated stuff, I mean, you disagree or agree, but this is not a hate on Liv Morgan. It's just, I'm very perplexed as to why Naomi was the first one eliminated. I didn't get that. But moving on to other things in the match, Tiffany Stratton's jump off of the pod. I mean, the crowd loved it. The crowd was 100% into this, and they should have been. It was, again, in some ways a little more physical than the men's. And once we got past the just bizarre beginning of the match, things really heated up quickly. It's like we finally got into it was like an introduction, and then we finally got into the real match. And so the first elimination, as I said, was Naomi being eliminated by Tiffany Stratton in 13 minutes and 30 seconds. And then Raquel Rodriguez comes out, and Bianca Belair comes out as a sixth and final entrant. So Tiffany Stratton, again, a breakout performance with what she did. Tiffany Stratton, though, was eliminated by Liv Morgan at 22 minutes and 55 seconds. The crowd was not happy. As I've mentioned, Raquel Rodriguez was then eliminated by Bianca Belair at 25 minutes and 5 seconds. And then the final three were Lynch, Belair, and Morgan. And we had Bianca Belair eliminated by Liv Morgan in 32 minutes and 10 seconds. So Liv actually, I thought for some reason she made it to the top three. She made it to the top two. So she was eliminated by Liv at 32:10. So she gets a bunch of, devastating roll-ups as if she's competing for the 24/7 title. And Bianca Belair was eliminated, shocked and eliminated. I think they wanted to stay away from Bianca Belair against Becky Lynch. That dynamic, they need to keep them both babyface, and I don't think they wanted the crowd to make a decision. They wanted to keep them both kind of separate, so Liv was the bridge to that. And then we immediately got a manhandle slam, thank God, by Lynch on Morgan, and got the victory in 32 minutes. So, again, very good. I enjoyed the chamber match. All the women really killed it. But the one person you're talking about really isn't even Becky Lynch. Tell me most people are not talking about Tiffany Stratton. No? I mean, really, Tiffy time is over. Is she a bit Chelsea Greenish? Yes. But she still has her own identity. I mean, she does have the center of the universe deal. She feels, her confidence is through the roof. I think most people are on board with this. And really, with how popular she's become over the last 24, 48 hours, you do wonder if that's going to translate back to the States, or if it's just going to be back to, a negative as designed reaction for Tiffany Stratton, and then, it just continues on, or if this actually does translate to the States. Perhaps it does. And we'll have to see, because the fans have gravitated to her, and we'll see if that trend continues. But Becky Lynch winning is not a shock to anyone that has been watching anything in WWE over the last 2 months. They started this promotion with Becky Lynch against Rhea Ripley, a long time ago. It was solidified at the press event in Vegas a month ago, 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago. It feels a little longer, but they solidified it there. It was now just a matter of formality for Becky Lynch to go through the chamber. I did say, though, that we could absolutely have a dark horse in a a Bianca Belair victory. And I would have loved that too. As I've said, Bianca Belair, how she has not crossed paths with Rhea Ripley yet it's surprising. I wouldn't call it criminal yet, because there's still time. And you always want to have an ace in your back pocket for a big match, and that would be a big match. I continue to say I think that that Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair would produce a more exciting matchup than Becky Lynch and Rhea Ripley would. I think that it just lends itself to I think their styles would mesh better. But Becky Lynch is no slouch. She has worked with all styles, all shapes, all sizes, and has proven herself time and again. So you're never going to get a good match out of her. But it just feels like they teased Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley last year. We didn't get it. We still don't have it a year later, but it's coming. And I guess I'm just impatient. But okay, Becky Lynch is the winner. let's move on. We got the tag team title match. Damian Priest and Finn Balor versus the New Catch Republic, Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate. This match, I don't think it's getting the love it deserves. I mean, this is a match that was overlooked by many, including myself. It wasn't one that anyone really was particularly losing their minds over because it wasn't really built up that well. And especially when you have challengers coming and going for the tag titles, they haven't been able to really take and hone in on a tag team to tell a good, longer story with Judgment Day. I mean, they started to a little bit with the Creed brothers, and then they just disappeared into the ether. And they've done it with some other teams as well. And I know that they're eventually going to get to Awesome Truth, I would think, with Miz and R-Truth at WrestleMania. But I don't have a problem with Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate. I think that they really had an opportunity here on a big platform in front of 52,000 fans to put on a show, and they did. I mean, this was a very good tag team match. Again, one that I don't think gets enough love from the fans, or at least the attention it deserves. There was some audio and video issues, I think, during this match. And that happened a couple times throughout the show, by the way. I'm sure everyone else experienced it. But this match was 17 minutes, and it ended with Damian Priest and Finn Balor retaining, but there were moments where you really did believe that Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate were going to win. They had some really nice, believable near falls, and I said to myself, maybe they do. Where's R-Truth? I'm shocked he didn't make an appearance. I'm shocked R-Truth didn't. But we did get an ejection of Dominic Mysterio to the crowd's much delight. But overall, again, very nice matchup here. Really fun. It was a match that you went in not really caring. Most people didn't really care too much about it. There wasn't much conversation about it. And they came out and you went, I'd like to see that again. And that's all you can ask a talent to do. When they barely get any promo time for this. Sorry, guys. I know my voice is cracking and I'm still struggling. I really have never been this sick in my entire life for this long. It keeps rolling into a new sickness. So I'm getting over them. It's not the same one. I just, it keeps on overlapping and then I start a new thing. So not that anyone cares, but I just wanted to tell you that. I promise you, I'm normally not this sick. I've been more sick in the last 6 weeks than I have in the last probably 6 years of my life. Anyway, back for my own personal woes. This, again, was all you could ask the talent to do. It's commendable, and it's a match that you would love to see again. Would anybody say to themselves, "No, I wouldn't want to see that again"? No. If you're a wrestling fan, you looked at this and said, "This is pro wrestling. This is professional wrestling at its finest." And I give all the men in this match credit. It was awesome. All right. Then we get the whole segment, as I kind of went over earlier, about Grayson Waller, the Grayson Waller effect with Seth Rollins and his weird glasses. I understand Seth is doing this weird, that's kind of his gimmick as he comes out with the most ridiculous outfits. But sometimes it's so distracting and it's just when he had that third, it was like a third eye. I don't know. That looked like so goofy and distracting. Sometimes I don't mind it. This was a little distracting. I don't know where he gets this stuff. But beyond that, again, segment was what you thought it would be. Grayson Waller remained neutral, and that's a smart move. Austin Theory was the butt of the joke. We did, again, as Cody Rhodes said, he challenged The Rock. And also Rollins saying he had a secret, I forgot about this, that he's just days away from being medically cleared to compete, which would lend itself to probably Monday Night Raw, perhaps. So, hey, this is great news, considering where we thought things could be for Seth and the world title. After we heard the news that he, busted up his knee during the match with Jinder Mahal a couple months ago. So, alrighty. And during this match, there's another thing. I can't believe I glossed over this either. Cody Rhodes did almost address the one question that we had directly on this show and others, that he said The Rock wouldn't want to talk about the conversation that he had that led to Cody stepping out of the WrestleMania main event. And that's when Waller interrupted him, like, bro, yes, this is actually an important piece of the story. So I'm shocked that they even addressed the question that fans have been asking. I know they didn't give an answer to it, but at least they addressed it before Grayson Waller cut him off. And it's an important thing to know. Why would Cody, as the Royal Rumble winner, step aside for The Rock to only step back in? Now, we know the real reason. It's because of the fans and their outcry, literally, for Cody Rhodes to face Roman Reigns and not The Rock. So we know the real reason, but give me the storyline reason. What is that? Now, the fact they brought it up is encouraging in that maybe they're going to tell us down the line in a promo with The Rock and Cody before they have their match. Perhaps that is what's going to happen. But I appreciated that they at least acknowledged the question. I know they didn't give an answer, so they don't get a full pat on the back. But at least they acknowledged, hey, yeah, like fans are asking, what the hell's going on? Now, one thing I was surprised a bit about this segment, no Roman Reigns. I know The Rock said he wasn't going to be there, but again, he said in his promo that if he does hear trash talk about him, that he will show up and slap the taste out of Cody Rhodes' mouth. I mean, obviously that didn't happen, but there was a hint, like, okay, he said he wasn't going to show up, but maybe he could. But even more shocking than that was really Roman Reigns. I thought for sure Roman Reigns was going to come out, maybe with Solo or Jimmy, take them both down, hold the titles up, massive heat. And they didn't do that, which... it's fine. I was wrong. So, all right. Let's go. We then got the men's Elimination Chamber match. McIntyre and Knight started the match. The third entrant was Kevin Owens. The fourth entrant was Bobby Lashley. The fifth was Randy Orton. And the sixth was Logan Paul. Now, a cool thing that I'm sure some of you or most of you picked up on was Kevin Owens. Michael Cole telling us about Kevin Owens meeting a kid earlier in the day. I think it was a Make-A-Wish kid. And that the kid asked Kevin Owens to do a choke slam in the match. And he promised the kid that he would do it. And he followed through on that. He followed through on that promise, which was really cool to see. So even though, some cynical people could say, oh, he's just doing it for the cameras. I mean, even if he is, I don't care because the kid got his wish. You know what I mean? So that's cool. Because when Kevin Owens did that, I'm like, what did he just pull an Undertaker? But good for him on LA Knight. It didn't affect the match in any capacity, of course, but the kid must have been elated. So that was a really kind of feel-good story from Cole. So I really appreciated hearing that. But, the other thing about this match that's coming to my mind, did Logan Paul get any offense at all? Or was he in the match to just be a body to toss around? Maybe he got a couple of punches or small small offensive maneuvers. He just got his ass kicked the whole match. I mean, it had to have been like 95%, 98% of the match. Logan Paul got almost no offense. And it's not a complaint. This is not a negative. It's just something I strikingly noticed. Now, he took hellacious bumps. I mean, the spear from Bobby Lashley was brutal. I remember I saw a part of the glass actually at one point, or the fiberglass or the plexiglass rather, not fiberglass. It was up against the throat of Logan Paul. I think I saw that at one point. But he took some hellacious bumps, man. I mean, credit to Logan Paul on that. So we didn't get to see, absolutely off the wall offense that I thought we could see. But we did get to see him just be used as a rag doll for the most of the match. So credit to him. He must be feeling like a truck hit him. So now we did get Randy Orton hitting the RKO on Paul as he was about to use the brass knucks. RKO, 1, 2, 3. Also very cool. They're still protecting the RKO. No one's kicking out of the RKO. So I still like that. Which makes you wonder why the hell the Cody Cutter doesn't work. But we did get Randy Orton pinning Logan Paul. But then Logan Paul paid him back and hit him in the face with brass knucks. and now you're starting a program with Logan Paul and Randy Orton. So that's how Randy Orton got eliminated, of course, by Drew McIntyre, who keeps lucking into these pinfalls. I mean, McIntyre's not using low blows. He's not using any chair shots. He's just being opportunistic. This is where the brilliance of his heel turn comes, is he's just trying to win the match. He's not the one who's using brass knucks or doing stuff behind the referee's back. No, he's just kind of taking advantage of the situation, which you should to win, right? At the same time, you despise him because of his demeanor and his arrogance and his holier than thou kind of I'm the hero all the time. I love it. So it's just some kind of brilliance that this man is putting out lately, and I love it. So Drew McIntyre gets pinfall after pinfall after pinfall of just kind of lucking into it. Knight at one point nearly eliminated Drew. AJ Styles, though, came in and started beating down LA Knight. And so AJ Styles is fully a heel now. So it looks like at WrestleMania, AJ Styles versus LA Knight. Or is this just kind of an in-between program that will eventually burn off before WrestleMania, and these two will be involved in some kind of multi-person United States title match? Either way, if these two are going to build a program to WrestleMania, let's see what this is. I was hoping Knight would be crowned a champion at WrestleMania, but next best thing is being involved with the talent, the caliber of AJ Styles. You know you're going to get a great match, and it's high profile. And AJ Styles is a full heel now, so you don't need to think about where he's landing. And LA Knight, get him back into the conversation. He's cooled off. So I have no issue with this. Now, I don't know how Logan Paul got out in, by the way. I know AJ Styles used took advantage of somebody coming out of the chamber to come in, but Logan Paul at one, there was such a gap between the person being eliminated before him and him being able to come back in and hit Randy with the brass knucks. I'm like, who is managing the door? They need a performance review here. Whoever has that one job, whoever that ref was, of making sure that chamber door is sealed and locked and no one can get in, gets a failing grade from me. But I mean that it's not a complaint, of course, guys. It's just kind of funny. How the hell did Logan Paul get back in? It still served its purpose. I have no issue with it. I'm not complaining. But Logan Paul hitting Randy Orton and seeing Randy Orton and Logan Paul being teamed up here is a very intriguing matchup. Very intriguing. Their styles, you can already tell they're going to mesh well. And Randy Orton's a mega babyface. Logan Paul is a mega heel. There's no need to think about who's going to be cheered and booed. It's very clear-cut lines. Now, the question, though, is, does Orton challenge for the U.S. title? If he does, cool. I mean, when was the last time Randy Orton was United States champion? So that should be an interesting little bit of business here with Orton and Logan Paul. It also gives Orton something to do. I feel like since Orton's come back, he almost got in a one-on-one with Roman that got all muddied up in a fatal four-way. And then since then, he hasn't done much. He hasn't been singled out for a matchup. And now you have Logan Paul waiting in the wings. And I think that's a good thing. I think Logan Paul again and Orton are going to put on, whenever this match happens, Mania, whatever, they're going to put on a really fun program. And Logan Paul is going to play an excellent heel. I mean, you already can tell that. All you're going to want to see is Orton hit the RKO on Paul. And Paul's going to do it from behind attacks. He's going to continue to use the brass knucks. It's going to be just so much fun to watch. So, all right, but it ends with, of course, the victory going to Drew McIntyre. And that's fine. I know a lot of people are disappointed in that. It's predictable. Yeah, it is. And, what we'd like is, as fans, things to be unpredictable, but also the right thing. That's a difficult combination and an unrealistic one to get every single time. Oh, it's predictable. Okay, well, what's then? If I were, WWE, I'd say, well then, what to you is the right decision? That's also the one that's kind of a twist, or one that you didn't see coming. And the answer is there's not always one, and there very rarely is one, really, because oftentimes what's surprising and what is the right thing are conflicting outcomes. So I know fans, when we get it, it's fun. but it's a rare combination to acquire. So I think as fans we need to realize that. All right, now let's not talk to. God Almighty, I feel like I'm doing the mailbag. Although I do have emails from you guys that I'll save until even one or two people that went to Perth that wrote in. So we'll talk to them on Wednesday. But let's finish up here with Rhea Ripley and Nia Jax for the Women's World Championship. And Rhea Ripley had her 13 family members at ringside. Her father, her mother, her sister. And Cole was touting how Ripley had started training at the Riot City Wrestling in Adelaide at the age of 15. And Rhea Ripley again, I said this before the event on the preview show. She needs to take this moment in and soak it into her soul, because being in your home country, in front of your family, with 52,000 people chanting your name is it's something that a lot of wrestlers go their whole careers and don't get. So I'm sure she was soaking in every moment, and good for her. And same for Nia Jax. I give her the credit too for just finding her confidence, finding her voice, finding more of who she is as a competitor. And really, she held up, I think, her end of the deal in this matchup. So now the crowd, I have to say, they were very, very into Rhea, but maybe I overestimated the level of support for Rhea. And maybe that's because, and what I expected, I guess, is just people constantly chanting throughout the entire match for Rhea, all these things. And we got just a very, very warm babyface reaction for Rhea. I guess I just had the standards a little too high. And also I think it's because they had an open air stadium, so a lot of the sound escapes, with no retractable roof. So I think that doesn't help either. But I'm not saying her reaction was bad. Rhea Ripley's reaction was very positive. I just had lofty expectations, I guess. So that's on me. So fun matchup here, 14 minutes, and this was fun. It wasn't the smoothest. It wasn't your fast-paced match, but of course you're not going to get that. You're not going to get that with Rhea Ripley, and especially Nia Jax. That's not their game, right? So it was I think a solid main event. Didn't blow me away, but I don't think anyone expected this to be match of the night. Rhea Ripley won, as expected. Out of every outcome that could possibly have happened at Elimination Chamber, Nia Jax winning the Women's World title would have made the least sense out of every outcome you could probably come up with. So Rhea Ripley wins after she hit Riptide, which she got her up as well as you could hope to get Nia Jax up. And we did get a Annihilator finish, but Ripley kicking out. I think no one's kicked out of that yet. And Jax then went up a couple moments later, but Rhea came up and superplexed her. Now, there was a moment that I thought we were going to get the ring collapse with Nia Jax. And this also came from, I thought it, but also I got a text from the Botch Guy. Remember the Botch Guy on YouTube? So we still chat every once in a while. Shout out to Botch Guy on YouTube. Go follow him. Great channel. He was texting me how he actually thought they were going to do the ring collapse with Nia Jax on the Superplex too. And I'm like, I was thinking to myself, well, that would be cool, but two problems. Number one, would they dare do that with a women's match? Would they send the message that Nia Jax is so big and she's so overweight that if she gets superplex off the top, the steel reinforced ring will collapse? I think that you'd have some people outraged, even though I think it'd be a cool moment. But also logically, part two in that is you had a lot of men who exceed that weight that Nia Jax is. I'm going to guess Nia Jax, while they don't say her weight, she's probably a good 240, right? Probably 240 pounds. There are several men that competed earlier in the night that were well in excess of her weight. So, if you're going to tell me that Nia Jax broke the ring, well, what about all the other men that were flying around the ring the rest of earlier in the night in the men's chamber? Come on, right? But there was a moment. I don't know if you guys felt the same way. I don't think the WWE would do that with women. And also, there's a lot of men in there that were a lot heavier. But overall, I thought it was a very solid match. We didn't get the face off of Becky coming out to face Rhea Ripley. That's smart. That would have been a bad decision if we had Becky Lynch come out to face Rhea Ripley just in a stare down. We don't need that visual yet because you would have got Becky destroyed in front of that crowd. I mean, the crowd would have just instantly turned on her, obviously. You're in Australia. But, I don't need that visual right now. And it's about Nia Jax, or rather Rhea Ripley's moment. Having that moment with her family, which, I mean, she was genuinely, obviously enjoying, and I'm happy for her. A really good match. Again, physical. Ripley getting tossed onto the announce table with the monitors still there, the iPad screen still there was, oh my God. Physical as hell here. Samoan drop from the second rope with Ripley covering, getting covered for a near fall. Jackson goes to the rope and Ripley slips underneath, gets in the electric chair position, and then dumped her face first in the top turnbuckle. Nia Jax really did hold her end of the bargain up here. She's a heavier woman that's going to pose limitations just because it's physics. But I think she did as well as you could expect her to do. And probably, Nia Jax's best match to date. Certainly her biggest. This is Nia Jax's biggest match ever. And, I think she showed her ability. I think she showed another level that she can go to. So I'm not sad if Nia Jax sticks around in the title picture. Maybe after WrestleMania, I don't need her involved in Becky and all that. But maybe they go to the Jade Cargill and Nia. I mean, who knows? But Nia Jax is going to be, I think, a force to be reckoned with at WrestleMania. Now I'm going to end with this statement here about Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley is obviously an attractive woman. She just is, right? Especially when she doesn't have all of her goth makeup on. I think her outfit she chose was heavily accented on her backside. And sure, we've seen we've seen this in the past with women in their choice of attire to the ring. But this, especially when there were some maneuvers done by Nia Jax on Rhea Ripley, I think it was the half Boston Crab people are specifically pointing to. When I'm more distracted by the sexuality you're trying to emit, and don't tell me, that's how you're interpreting it. That's, no, that's exactly what she's, you don't wear an outfit like that. And then when men, especially, or women, look at that and go, oh my God, wow, that's a hot outfit. You don't think she knows that's the response she's looking for or wants or expects? So I'm sure some people, it's just because you're no. I mean, everyone knows that Rhea Ripley she's a unique character. And I think she genuinely plays who she is on TV pretty close to what she is off camera. I mean, not to that extreme, but my point in all this is it was a bit distracting, I think, especially in that maneuver and others where it was just, I mean, it basically was a thong. Let's be real. What she wore in the back was a thong. It just was a very, it was a much more, I guess, fabric enforced material because she was wrestling. But that outfit that curved her down, her nether regions was just a little much for me. Not that I'm offended by it, just like I don't need to be that distracted. When the cameras are on you, where am I supposed to look? So it's not a complaint. Just, it was a bit just kind of like, oh, so you want us to clearly look. Let's be serious here. But also, we recognize how good you are. So I don't know what that was about. Her outfit choices were they're up for discussion. It's not a complaint. It's just something I noticed. And I don't know if you guys feel the same way or don't care. Maybe most of you don't care. That's fine. Most of you don't give a damn. Some of you probably enjoyed it. Some of you probably think I'm some misogynistic pig. I really could care less. It's fine. It just is what it is. And you guys know I'm speaking the truth on this. You know I am. I got a primarily male audience. So you know that when you saw Rhea Ripley's outfit, you're like, oh, I see. Right? So, I'm also for all the women, whenever I see any of the women on Instagram, like Nikita Lyons, just as an example, or even Jade Cargill, that are constantly posting crap on Instagram or on X or Facebook, wherever. And it's all about just showing off their body. Like, if I saw that one, if it was like one picture out of, 100, I'd be like, all right. But it's the majority of what some of these women post is, look at my ass. And that's what it is. Which, fine, we'll do it. But then don't also turn around and be like, well, you're sexualizing me. Right? Like, you're a wrestler. I want to see you wrestle. And the women's division has made such strides from getting away from the sexualization of women and into like the main event of WrestleMania. You talk about night and day. And they've come so far. I think sometimes when the women on social media of wrestling just are constantly posting themselves in the skimpiest stuff to get attention and look at my body. I understand you're proud of your body. Good. Cool. Yeah, it's difficult. You busted your ass to get that physique, and good for you. But when it's all you see all the time from some of the women, it's like, I feel like they're taking the women back a little bit. I feel like they're taking some of the women back to just the men gawking at them, which is what most of the Attitude Era was. The women's division was not taken seriously. It was a joke at best, a time filler at best, and it was mostly bra and panties matches. They were used as managers, push-up bras. You remember, if you go think back, even the Ruthless Aggression era had some of that. So when they've made so many strides and you see these women today doing just kind of repeating the same thing for attention or for their own self-serving reasons, whatever the case, the general public is going to look at that and go, wow, especially men. Wow, she's hot. Instead of the reaction I think that they should have with things you're posting, which is, damn, she's badass. I can't wait to see this matchup versus this matchup. Do you think there's any bikini photos or lingerie photos that anyone's seeing from some of these women and going, man, their first reaction is, oh, think about the dream matchup? No. You know exactly what they're thinking. So there's a time and place for that kind of stuff. And I don't mind it every once in a while because I'm the I guess you would call the official voice on how the women should conduct themselves in WWE, right? It's my own personal preference. It's my own personal preference because that kind of stuff you can find anywhere, all the time, every day, anywhere. We all know what that is or where to get it. When I watch wrestling, and I watch women's wrestling specifically, I want to see competition. I don't need them in Saudi Arabia outfits, okay, in t-shirts. No. But when you are blatantly saying, look at this part of my body, which is exactly what the purpose of it is, it's like, I will, but also it's discrediting some of the women's progress a little. It eats away at it a little bit. It takes baby steps back, baby tiptoe steps. And it's like, I don't know. So that's my spiel. It's not a complaint with Rhea, just more of, I think that outfit was a very interesting choice. But does it affect her career? Is it going to affect her moving forward? Of course not. It's just, to me, triggered more of a overall bigger problem that today's, some of the women in today's wrestling are conducting themselves on social media, which I think they're dragging the women back a little bit. And I want to see them keep moving forward with, you want to be equal to the men and not be objectified? Then compete. Don't put your body out there all the time, because that's not what you're doing. You're not a fitness model, right? You're a professional wrestler. And that's what people want to see you do. So do it and kick ass at it. So I wonder how many people I just pissed off with that rant. Probably a lot. Probably, here's what some of the people who are listening probably heard. So he's telling the women how they should act on social media. And he looks at some of the women as sex objects. I know that some of you heard only that, but if you listen carefully, that's exactly the opposite of what I said. Okay. So touchy subject, but somebody had to put it out there because I think it's a trend that's growing. Especially even some of the NXT wrestlers. I don't want to see it. That's not women's wrestling, you know? So let's see how many emails I get about, or voicemails I get about this. So I was listening to your Elimination Chamber review, and I really took issue with what you said about the women, right? Whatever. It's fine. It's fine. I mean, I'm actually advocating for them to stop being sexualized, but if, that's the message some of you take, it is what it is. You hear what you want to hear. All right. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for joining me. If you want to go ad-free, patreon.com/WWE podcast is the way to go. You can also go to Apple Podcasts and get a 7-day free trial there. There's free trials also on Patreon. I will be back tomorrow night with Anthony on the current state of WWE, if my voice is able to sustain itself. And then on Tuesday, hopefully I'll be, again, with my voice pending, I'll be doing the Raw review with Chrissy. Excited to have her back. And then mailbag on Wednesday with some emails I'm excited to get to. So everybody, thanks so much for listening. Take care. I'll talk to you next time.
Thanks for listening to the WWE Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast app so you don't miss a show, or head to WWEpodcast.com. And for all of these shows ad-free, head over to patreon.com/WWE Podcast. Until then, we'll see you next time.